Hi, everybody. I just wanted to wish you all a great day, and I hope you're all doing really well. I'm really excited to continue on my series of interviews, not only with our amazing clients, but with our amazing team. So, again, a lot of you ask a lot of different questions about our program and what's involved and who's involved. And I've been wanting to share with you, and I've been sharing with you some of our amazing team members, and I want to share with you another one. And this is our world class, amazing, kick ass mindset coach, Carla Blumenthal. Hi, Carla, welcome.
Hi, it's so much fun to be here.
So excited. I get to spend my days working with my team and we get to create all of these transformations, but to get to have a conversation with Carla, who's got like a really special story in terms of coming into our company and what she does in our company and the success that she's created. I just want to have everybody get to know my amazing team members. For those of you that have been in the Live Your Potential Academy or might be in it or have graduated, you know the special superpowers of Carla Blumenthal and how she really helps people to completely not only meet their goals in the program, but get so many different mind-blowing results out of the program and maximizing it so that they can live their full potential. So she plays a very important role, and I wanted to have you all get to know her a little bit more. So Carla, let's start off a little bit going down memory lane,
Yeah.
where what it is that sort of brought us together in this journey, in doing this work now, and yeah, like if you want to give a little bit of that backstory, I think that would be fun for everybody.
Sure. Well, I'm just super jazzed to be here because having a conversation with Dr.T is one of my favorite things in the world. So I'm glad other people will enjoy as well. So this was quite a while ago, a couple years ago. I live in New York City. I was always a type A individual and was working at a job that in marketing that wasn't really a fit, was just feeling drained, feeling completely like I was grasping for something outside of myself to relieve this pain that was me just not only just being in a job that wasn't right, but not living my purpose, not feeling like I had a community of people that were interested in their purpose, just feeling like I was going through the motions. It felt really icky for quite some time. So I connected with Dr. T at a networking event where you were speaking, and this was 2013. I think it was the end of 2013.
Wow.
And so you were talking, and I was and I remember going on your website earlier that day, looking at who the speakers were going to be, and just saying just what was on your website, which was different, of course, a couple of years ago, but it's still the same. It really resonated with me. Just your whole approach. And I just felt like, even though I hadn't met you yet, I had already connected.
I don't think I knew that part of the story. Okay, gotcha.
Oh, yeah. I had actually before...
I thought it was my wow. The speech was such a wow.
Well, before we connected, I had actually, it was like maybe 3 hours before I had sent an inquiry.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I realized that part of the story. That's so cool.
Yeah. And so that's what like got me the confidence to go up and connect with you after your talk. So we had connected and I became a client. It was right at the time where I had actually just been let go from my job and was like rebuilding my life. And you were really fundamental you were the fundamentals in building a life that I feel so alive in. And we can get into what that is and looks like, but that's the long and short of it.
Carla, I love that. So I always thought it was that Carla and I just had a great connection at this networking event, and she came up to me, and I just remember thinking, this is somebody I cannot wait to get to know, whatever unfolds with that. So it's been, everybody knows this who's watching, that there are just certain people that come into your life, and it's a big, important, significant moment, and you don't need to know what it is, but it's going to really be something special. So
yes, and I think that that's a great insight, in that I felt when I was on the site and when I read some of the articles, even before we connected. Yep. I just, at the time video wasn't as big, but I just felt that tingling in me, and I followed that. I didn't know what it was. It was just like, there's something here. There's a thread here. And I'm so glad that I followed that.
I love that.
And that's a great thing to really, if you're feeling that questioning, what is that? Like, that's just such an important thing to follow.
Carla, that's really great to share with everybody. When there's a resonance of something, that you can trust yourself, even if you might feel like there's a lot of different things that you haven't developed in yourself. If there's that piece, that resonance in anything, right? In dating or whatever it is, to follow that part of yourself. So Carla, what was, so let me just say this as well, everyone, because there's a lot more fun to Carla and I's long journey together, and the different things that we did to really become partners in so many ways. And long story short is, we did whatever it took to be able to get to share our passion and purpose together, as not only when she was my client, but of course all the way up until now. So in that way, that's one of the things I love about Carla and my connection, is that we've got a very shared mission and purpose and depth to what we care about. And so Carla, let me switch gears a little bit and continue on with for you, what were you, when you were talking about making these shifts in your life that happened, what were the things you really wanted the most for yourself at that time?
There's different levels. The first thing was, I don't want to be in this pain anymore. Mm-hmm. It was a very survival based thing. But once I got out of that, which happened relatively fast, but that felt monumental. Yeah. There became a new level, which was, what is possible for me? This idea of possibility became this new theme. And for the first time, I felt that I really could explore who I was, and what I actually wanted. And those were questions I had maybe asked before, but not to the depth of the freedom of the question.
Makes sense.
So, really seeing what is possible with who I really am became that next level. And exploring that across career, relationships, health, like my general lifestyle. I mean, it was across all areas of my life.
I gotcha. Yeah, Carla, you said something really profoundly important for everybody to know, that this is a consistency in the work that we do as a team with our clients, which is that people do really get out of the acute pain and struggle quite in an accelerated manner to compare to many other things that people might be doing. And that's what the really greatest part about what is essentially our Live Your Potential program, is that you're able to get out of the acute pain very quickly and able to get into those possibilities, be able to really connect to that full potential experience. So, Carl, I really appreciate you giving people that insight. So, what would you say, Carla, we'll talk a little bit more about Carla's experience as a client, and then we'll get into our experience as a team and how much fun we have with everyone. But Carla, what would you say were the biggest transformative outcomes for you in your journey as a client that then made it so that you wanted to do this work, right? That you wanted to do what we do? For
me, it was being so connected to the truth of myself. I feel that the work that we did cut through everything pretty sharply. And sharply, right, when I say that word, some of it is painful, right, to get through all the stories. But it then once I moved through that pain, there was peace and there was clarity and there's just truth. And so the outcomes were what is that truth telling me? And so that's now where I'm able to operate from as a skill set. And so for me, that became, okay, well, I'm going to keep following the clues. Of course, I didn't wake up and just say, okay, I know exactly what my painting of what everything is going to look like in my life. But I said, okay, there are particular clues in front of me. What is the truth about that? How can I move forward with that? And one of them, was I just felt as a person that is on the sensitive side, like the sensitive or deeply feeling side. Deeply, I feel like it's sensitive, deeply feeling, and anxious, sort of all wrapped up in this one scale. But with that, there is that as you talk about that emotional strength, and as we train, we talk a lot about that, and that's, I feel like, a particular type of person, right? And it can be painful if you are living in bouncing around in that without clarity on how to scale into another part. So the outcome was I was no longer bouncing around in that web, and I was able to get to that point of truth and clarity, and then said to myself, okay, what are the clues professionally in front of me, and what are the clues relationship and dating wise, and also just general life, health, well-being.
Yeah. Carla, that's so good for me to hear. This is why it really is good for me to do these conversations, to support everybody in the community, but also I get to know my team that much better, and I love that I could never have articulated something like this. This is why I wanted all of you to hear what it's like from each of my amazing team members' perspective. And so, Carla, how great that there. What I'm getting from you is you had that sense of safety to really explore. Right, as Carla said, she got out of the acute pain quickly, was able to see what was possible, safely explore herself, and beyond that pain was peace and truth and clarity that, I could remember as Carla and I joke, it's like, okay, we have all of that. Doesn't mean you need to all of a sudden immediately change every single thing in your life in this huge way. But it was now that Carla was operating from what we call your internal navigation system, and beginning to live that as a life strategy and trust that to guide her rather than making decisions from some sort of anxiety. There was this level of clarity and a force that she was connected to that most of us, unfortunately, were never taught to operate on. Right.
And with that, I now have a relationship with that part of me. It's for me, that part of me hasn't completely just disappeared. It doesn't, ever call. Right. Sometimes it calls, but I learn whether I want to pick up and how I want to talk to it. And so that part, I'm just much stronger in that part of me. It's just a smaller, tiny little thing when it used to be my entire existence.
Yeah. And what's so exciting too is that for all of you to recognize that it really is possible, and with each client that I've ever worked with in our entire team, there is this beautiful spectrum of coming into this trust of yourself and then truly following that. And what I want to really acknowledge you, Carla, and why it also makes you such a pivotal part of the transformation that you do for our clients is that you are somebody willing to completely apply yourself to all of this methodology and implement just very active connection to it and implementation of it with very strategic life choices, right? That were like coming from the resonance with everything, but then the implementation. And it was so amazing to watch you, Carla, to be with you as you stepped forward from the truth in each new decision that was made and then what it produced, right? Which is the fun. We know this now as coaches, we know this is the fun part in all of this. So that's something that is really important to know as well about what we do, is that it's not only a methodology, but, you know, as Carla's saying, she basically then began to go ahead and implement it in every part of her life. Yeah.
Yes. And thank you for sharing that. I think there's a big part here of, I didn't just listen to what you had to say. Like I was in boot camp, and I actually, sometimes as I think about it now, I still am in boot camp. Every moment, like when I'm on the subway or walking around, or, you know, if I'm just sitting at home, I'm plugged in, listening and thinking about all these different concepts. So that's, I think, a key part of that growth is always in that application and learning mode. I hope I never get out of that mode.
Well, what's so great is, Carla, what you're referring to is, and this is important for everybody to know, that because they think, how can this all happen in a short period of time, in a certain amount of weeks? And what you're referring to is that way in which you can really integrate this quite easily. It doesn't mean it will be, it'll be different in your experiences, but in implementing it and doing this, it can be done in a way that then you enjoy the natural process of continuing on in a level of just an awakened state, an awakened way of being. And then you're just living in that new existence. And it's really, we consider it kind of a playground, everyone. Like, it's such a wonderful, fun playground. And we love people to come in and play with us in this. So I like what you're referring to in that, Carla. That's really insightful for people. So, Carla, what would you say was the turning point, the moment of like evolution for you, that you knew that you had done so much development in yourself that you were ready and wanting to serve other people with this, with what is the combination of what we have learned together, and then just this essence of exactly who you are and what this all means to you. What really, what was that moment, and what was it all about? If you'll share that with us.
So going back to this idea of clues, I was very open, you know, looking around in my external world for clues that would match my internal navigation. And so what I was doing, you know, in our work together, I, you know, was at that time doing a couple of freelance jobs, and also running a group that I sunset a couple of years ago, but called T plus Purpose. And I basically, as a part of the work, I said, I really want to find a community of people that I can have these types of conversations with. And I facilitated those conversations about similar topics that are within this program. And because of that, I was at an event, and someone had said to me, oh, wow, like in talking about the program, he said, I would love for you to coach me. And I never thought to myself, yes, I never had said to myself, I am a coach and I want to become one. Right. Someone had identified the strengths in me that I was already cultivating. Yeah. And so in that way, like I said, my internal navigation and my skill set was already being cultivated, those parts were being cultivated. And when that clue came to me, I said, wow, yes, this is what I'm going to do. So it was a combination of factors of saying what feels true and good for me, what is my skill set, and then, okay, wow, even though it was, you know, in that moment, it was like, can I do this? There was a lot of internal chatter, but I just said, great, yes, absolutely. and move forward from there.
I love that. This was a really wonderful moment where I always I knew from the beginning that we were doing a lot of different stages of our connection, but that there was a level of apprenticeship going on, and that it makes sense. And this is can be really exciting for everyone, regardless of whether you may want to be a coach or some sort of practitioner. When you become so infused with the methodology that our Live Your Potential program teaches, that when you are walking around in life, as you are existing and being, it's a very magnetizing existence, and it draws a lot of opportunity, and people truly, they can feel the what we call your sort of up-leveled self. And that's a beautiful example of what happens is somebody's just saying they don't know what Carla is doing, or if she even has a coaching business, or if she's and yet there's a draw and an attraction, which is a really, I love this story, that it's like, I want you in my life to teach me something. It like assumes you're a teacher, right? And a trainer.
Yes. And what was so interesting is he asked me to coach him on empathy, which I had felt my whole life, as we talk about this sort of sensitive, anxious, like this bubble of deeply feeling, that I had felt my whole life that was either going to be a strength, or that was going to actually be my biggest darkness. Right. And in that way, he had seen something in me that made it, I realized that is my strength if I know how to connect with that part of me.
Yeah. So this is a really, just again, a really wonderful example, everyone. It could be where you're just dealing with a high level of anxiety or some very, very significant struggles. And you might be watching our interview and just be thinking, I just want to just be able to get out of this struggle or suffering. There may be a real, in this community, a real spectrum, of course, there is, of where people are in significant struggle, where people might be where your life is feeling really good and you want it to be great because you don't like anywhere where you're not living your potential. But whatever it is, whatever stage you might be in, whatever part of the spectrum, what is really important, and I want to really support you all with this knowledge, is that you can absolutely not only get out of the pain and suffering in a very strategic process that we do in a very short period of time, but that all of your desire to simply want to have life really work for you and have things come to you and have you being you just bring to your life what you want it to bring. That's another beautiful, important gift of this, the outcomes of this process, is that you were truly would, it could be anything, with dating, with relationships, with finances. And yet Carla, what was really clear for a while is she really wanted to be of service to people and share what she'd learned and just share who she was. And so this is an important thing to recognize, that's it's an example, but it's the kind of thing that happens. It keeps happening, for each of us that live this methodology, and it keeps happening for our clients, where things just work for you because of the level of development that you've done on yourself, right? The level of connection. And that is the kind of example where all of a sudden somebody will just come and offer to you something that you've been wanting to do anyway, right? So people do think we sound a little nutty when we're saying this, but you heard it from Coach Carla. It's really true. Poof, yes, you're my coach, and off we went. And it was a great moment of knowing what I already knew, which was that this was Carla's next moment to follow her truth, right? Mm-hmm. So, Carla, what was it like making that transition into, beginning to coach for the first time in these new experiences? What was this transition like for you?
Well, I absolutely loved working with people through coaching and seeing that the transition and the transformation that I could then facilitate and hold that space for others. And that was very powerful, to feel that naturally who I was as you said, of service, and that, yes, of course, there are different skills I can cultivate that we all can cultivate, but that connection to who I was already of service in coaching. Yeah. And so, yes, of course, this is why I think I love my work as a mindset coach, because not only did I love it, but I also had to face my own internal mental chatter about what I could do, right? And so I had to really, and through, your help as well, work that and actually develop a success mindset, develop a mindset of abundance and clarity and focus and of transformation for myself first. Absolutely. So that I could do that for others. And so there was a practice even before, even as I was working with clients, not necessarily in a mindset capacity, where I was cultivating my mindset in that boot camp style, so that when I transitioned into being this mindset coach, I had already done for myself. And I think that's something that I'm so proud of for our team, that we live it. And that is truly just such a gift to ourselves and also to our clients. We're not talking out of one side of our mouth and doing something else. We live it day to day, both the beauty of it and also, the internal chatter side that doesn't always feel great. But, I really worked that part of me for a long time, so that I was only operating out of that place of service, but out of a place of clarity within my own mindset around what was possible.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah, Carl, it's a great point about how actually the more that we do with new people that we connect with and serve every day, that it's an ongoing evolution for us to continue to grow, to be able to very easily meet the transformational needs of literally anything and everything that a client might need us for. And that's one of our greatest commitments, is that we grow our capacity to literally be able to handle anything that you're all dealing with and handle it in the same strategic fashion with the same time frame and the same consistency of outcomes. So, Carla, thank you for sharing that. So, Carla, let's transition a bit to talk a little bit more. I said, well, as you all know by now, Carla is one of our really incredible kick-ass coaches. This group that we have is so phenomenal, and she plays a very important role in helping our clients, which is that mindset coach. And she's one of the pivotal parts of the transformational experience. And so, Carla, do you want to say a little bit more about what you do and why it's important and how it helps people get the outcomes that they want, no matter what those outcomes are, right? That we can make that happen.
Mm-hmm. So, when you sign up for the program, people are experiencing a lot of different feelings, right? And it's very natural because you're on the cusp of your life being changed forever. True. So it's natural to feel a wide range of things. My role here is to really hold people's hand, and to not only just see their success throughout the program, so that they feel that they understand what's next for them just tactically in the program. That's one part of it. But the other part of it is just that I help them understand more of the role of mindset within completing the program, what they're thinking about what's possible for them in their life, what they're thinking about what's possible for them in these 12 weeks. And so my role is to really connect with them. We meet about every 2 weeks throughout the program. And it's really it's the time for one-on-one support on what your thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes are about the program itself, but also your transformation. And it's a time for really quick changes in if there's any type of struggle in that.
Right. This makes a great point, Carla. So we know, everyone, that we know that we're going to get the success, and we know we have the vantage point to know that wherever somebody is, we know what's going to happen at the end, and it's always even better than we can imagine and better than our clients can imagine. But everybody, when you're coming in to fix anything, it makes a lot of sense. What Carla's saying is that you're also bringing in the things that aren't working, of course, to be fixed, but those can show up in the way that somebody is able to apply themselves to the program. So that's an important part of us knowing not only how to get the outcomes for people easily, but to know the things that might trip them up, know the things that where even working the hardest you could possibly to develop yourself, that there's aspects of each of us in life that can get in our own way. So Carla has this very important role of making sure that you move forward the way you want to, and that we don't have any stuff get in your way, including things that you just can't, you're not aware of that would make that happen. So we've got a whole team with a important role to help you with each part of making it through a transformation that you want to. And Carla, would you say that's one of the reasons that would be one of the reasons to answer the question of when people are saying, this seems too good to be true, but at the same time, I've never finished something. I've started a program and never finished it. So what would you say to people about that concept? Like, can this really work for me because I never finish things and I never follow through?
Well, we've designed the program so that you will follow through. This is not something you sign up for and it sits on the shelf, or it sits, in your computer for you not to do. We are here to support and serve you. And part of my role as the mindset coach is, like I said, we're holding hands. Yes. We're going to walk throughout these 12 weeks to ensure that you are really seeing the success and outcomes you need. And if not, we're going to figure out how. Yeah. And when you do, we're going to celebrate them as well. And that's a big part of what our approach is here. So we are about, we've built the program so that you are going to achieve that success.
Yes. We know that is definitely built in, because for each person, it's different what might need to be worked on. So I love that, Carla. We when we say that it is impossible to fail, that is because in our team, our approach, we see every single thing that might be going on while you're going through the program. We just see it as the indication of the opportunity to grow. So whatever it is, we're just going to train you through that. And that's what's something that I think people really, really enjoy, that you're not left to your own devices, that we're going to come in after you in a good way. Yeah. So Carla, let's shift gears even a little bit more to, well, I guess along the same track, but a little bit of a shift here about, your sense of why this program really works for people, why all the factors that we have in it and the process delivers the kind of results that people can see on our client graduation interviews, and the results that we've really seen all of our clients have over the years in our little vantage point we all enjoy. Why do you think this program is so successful for people, literally on a 100% level?
There's two big things that come up. One is the content itself is like I said, just truth. It helps you develop a structure, an infrastructure, so that you're cutting through whatever challenges, obstacles, emotional issues or addiction issues, like whatever might be there. It helps you see the framework that you wish you had known many, many years ago. And so I think even just from our conversation earlier on this interview, you can see that the content itself has changed my life. And I think as we look at the graduation interviews, countless other people. So that's sort of a shoo-in. But the other thing is just the structure itself, right? As we talked about a few minutes ago, it's about, you're going to be doing some work on your own in terms of processing from the modules and the lessons, and then taking different action steps. There's also the group calls where you're getting support from yourself and other, Dr. T and other coaches. And then you have your mindset coach that's holding your hand. So in many ways, we're hitting all different types of processing, people that process differently, people that want to do work on their own, or talking it through, or writing it down, or one-on-one, or group. It is all of it. So the structure of it hits multiple types of ways that we have seen, helps individuals. So pairing that life-changing content over this structure, it's really a no-fail process.
Makes sense. Thank you, Carla. I you're reminding me of some important things, that all the different ways and modalities that people learn, the ways that different people learn, and what will support people, and having really comprehensively made it so all the important ways that we transform are in place. That is great. Thank you, Carla. So Carla, then what would you say to people who feel like they've tried it all, they've done it all, they've maybe done the whole conventional route? We know in this community, all of you are just so driven to live your full potential, and you've, to some degree in life, you've been working to develop parts of yourself that you that aren't where you want them to be. And you've tried all the different kinds of conventional therapies and medical treatments, and the array of, the chiropractors, the acupuncturists, all the different things that are out there, right? We've never had more health information and opportunities available. So for all of you that are used to that, and you've tried it all, and what we hear all the time, Carla, as you know, is people have been so disappointed, and they don't really have a frame of reference for something like what we do. So for people, Carla, that feel like all their stuff is just too overwhelming, nothing's worked, and it probably won't work for them, what would you say to them? What would you say to the people that feel that way?
The first thing is that it is possible. It is. Just believing and seeing, all these different videos, that it has worked for so many people. So first, that that belief that even if it's a 1% belief in there, that something is possible here, hold on to that. And let's, see what that 1% is telling you. So that's one thing. Another thing is that if we get on the business side of things, other businesses, like either therapists or other medical businesses, are built oftentimes for your return, right? So there's an incentive for long-term approaches. And for us, as going back to, we're based in truth and clarity, we have, with Dr. T at the helm and us, coaches, we have compacted everything in our brain into 12 weeks. And so that you are going through literally everything that over previous years we might have done over the long term.
That's right.
And so that you're getting all of that might take a couple years in another approach in a short, compact amount of time. Because our goals are just different. And so that's the more business side of things, is that we have different incentives, truthfully, as a business. And so it's just not about that. Ours is about results, transformation, and clarity and truth in a short amount of time.
Carla, you're hitting on something really important, which is why, again, I love to have my team, to have my partners in all of this, share their perspective, because it's really true, Carla. This something that, this was a real labor of love for all of us as a team to take something of a process that used to be considered pretty record time for people with very serious issues. If you could accomplish something in 6 months to a year that was never accomplished before, and that was considered very successful, and yet taken the wisdom of this entire methodology and packaged it to provide the kind of transformation that would happen in 12 weeks. Right, versus waiting 1 week at a time. And this is something really profound, having taken the collective transformational content of mine, and in the program you will not only work with our team, they're in your training and your online modules as well. And nowhere in the world does that really exist, that an entire total human transformational process that isn't missing anything, it can be accomplished in this fun boot camp style, right? So this cuts through where clients used to say, and I know you felt this, Carla, that clients would say they couldn't wait for their next session, and when they'd come to the next session a week later, they were like, I was so excited to come to the session, and now we've made that different, right? So all of that is happening in an accelerated period of time. And Carla, would you agree that that's made it, that what's different in the industry is that we believe, and we see, more importantly, that when you get out of that pain really quickly and you're into those possibilities, and then you're into that construction of more of the life that you want, that it's a great feeling when clients don't need to work with us on any more stuff, but then they feel, some clients feel the desire to continue to grow and build some things, but they feel secure and that they've got their foundation.
Yeah, well, the goals are different, right? And it's an exciting one goal is, I'm in pain. Can you help me get out of this? I've tried this, and this, and I can't get out of this pain. And then the other goal, and once, if clients want to continue in some way, that second goal is like, oh my gosh, I feel amazing. Like, let's do this together. Like, what's possible here? Right. Let's really grow. Build, yeah, it's like the super fun, cool lifestyle stuff. Yep. That's also, our expertise.
We do love getting people married, and whatever it is, we love to keep building with you, but to the point, the foundation is built, and that's the most important thing. Yeah. Carla, what would you say is sort of, you think might be the most surprising thing for people that they would never know about the experience itself that they'll have, let alone maybe the outcomes, or what the whole range of what we know for people, what we see happening, what they're going to experience and do? What would you say would be maybe something surprising to them?
It's a great question. It comes down to this idea that it's like anything is possible, and that with us by your side, that is true. As I've actually loved watching the client interviews here, because seeing my mindset clients being interviewed, because it's like, wow, yes, even if that the outcomes that just feel like feels like tomorrow, right. Or is that even possible for me? We short circuit that and we make it very possible in that time frame. And what's interesting is, I think, as people are going through the program, there are ups and downs emotionally sometimes. And so what I think is so amazing about our, like I said, our infrastructure, is that we are there. when there is an up or down, it's like, we've built a program, so it's just, a day away till you have your coaching session, or till you have your mindset call, or you can log back in at 3 a.m. and listen to that module again. That's going to reconnect you. And so I think the surprising thing is, as well, is not only just that the outcomes can happen and it's possible in that time frame, but that, wow, that, the ups and downs, you're going to be supported fully in that process. And I think that's a big, just an incredible thing for our program, is that people feel that like they are supported throughout. I think that's a surprising thing for the marketplace. Yeah. Because a lot of people buy programs, and like I said, it's like sits on the shelf, or it's just, they have a call every 2 weeks, or, it just doesn't feel like you're in it. And with this, you are in it.
Carla, this is very important too for everybody to understand that it's not just that we're holding you accountable in a really enjoyable way that you feel really good about, you feel really cared about. We're not drill sergeants, but we're absolutely outcome driven for you. And there are a lot of different programs, and accountability is not necessarily built into most of them, and it's not necessarily there with the level of team. And that's something really important for everybody to know about why I have the people I have on this team, why we work shoulder to shoulder together to create these outcomes, is because the level of leadership and influence that can change somebody's life in a very short period of time, even after, generations of struggling with some of the same issues. It really does come down to not only that the leadership is there, but that this team is the type of leadership that we are courageously willing to do whatever we need, and to be more powerful than any struggle that you have, right? That there's such a level of confidence and power in what we do that it does not matter any moment of struggle that you're having. Our leadership influence is so strong in what we believe, and that influence is really something, no matter what anybody ever chooses to do to support themselves in, you definitely want to have leaders that are working with you that can handle you, right? That can handle how deep the struggle might be, and can handle all of your drive. And that's a really important thing for everyone, that I think it's a valuable thing to share with you, is that you want to be with people that are that powerful enough to really handle anything that you need help with. And when you're assessing people, if you're able to be fully in charge and instead of them, that may not be the person for you. So, Carla, anything you want to add about that, the type of influence and the type of leadership that's important and that we bring?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we as a team have such a powerful, let's say, perspective and personalities, in that we can be very empathetic and understanding and supportive, and also know when it's time to push the gas, and like, let's take it up a notch. Yep. So I think that's quite rare in different programs and coaches, is to have both of those sides. And I think that's something that we do very well.
That is awesome. When to push the gas. So Carla, for people who have not ever they've done the sort of pay as you go, the lot of different pieces that they bring together in their wellness strategy, and they're used to that conventional approach to things, and they're used to like going to somebody rather than becoming that expert in everything themselves. And this is a paradigm shift for them to really think about investing in themselves with a whole new foundation, not only emotionally and behaviorally, but where you all get to know basically how to do what we do. For somebody that hasn't ever done something like that, that's a paradigm shift. Anything that you would say to them about investing in themselves at a foundational level?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's potentially a new thing, right? I know it was for me. Of we're used to investing in our day to day or education, traditional education. But the way I saw it is that this is a different type of education that's just as important as a traditional education, because otherwise you can't actually apply that other education. So there's, to see it on that level was a big shift, I know, for myself many years ago. And so I would just encourage people to really see all the different things that they already invest in day to day, and actually all the education they have invested in the past, and to see that this investment is actually so that you can live your full potential, so you can actually enjoy the maybe other material things you have, so you can actually enjoy the non-material things you have, like your relationships and family and whatever might be in your life. And so you can really clearly apply the other parts of your education that you have invested for your actually job and skill set. So I'd say this is in many ways just as important. It actually creates the possibility for all of that to really work in the way that you deep down intended it to, but there's other challenges that may have come up.
I love that, Carla. So Carla, thank you for all this amazing perspective. And I just, again, I wanted everybody to get to know so much more about each coach on this team, about the people who are really there making these transformations happen. And Carla, any last things, anything that you just want to say to our beautiful growing community, from you to them, that are wanting to change their lives, or just anything that you feel? We just love all of you in this community, and now Carla's getting a chance to connect with you. Anything that you want to say as we wrap up today?
I think I'll go back to that idea that if there's that 1% inside of you that's either thinking, I wonder what's possible, or there's that 1% that's saying, this resonates with you, or it might even be 99%, whatever percentage it is. But if there's that little glimmer in you, then I would follow that. It doesn't even just mean with our program. Follow that in your life. That is the clues that are leading you to the next thing. And so I would say really honor that within you. Honor that sense of possibility. And the other thing is that we have fun.
I was waiting for that.
That our experience of each other as a team and our experience with our clients, like, even though it might seem like we're working on struggle, we're working on obstacles, we're working on challenges, somehow miraculously it becomes like super fun. It's so funny because the days I end up coaching, I realize are the days I laugh the most. Yep. It's just so much fun.
Carla, this is excellent. That is I think maybe one of the more profound gifts that Carla could give to all of you for anything in your life. Any piece of that resonance, anything that you feel drawn to, even if parts of you are screaming something in the opposite, to trust that deeper part of you in whatever it is, and to tune into that. And so whether that is with something else, or whether that is with us, with meaning that you'd like to consider getting to know more about what is possible. Carla makes another very important point, that we've made transforming out of any suffering or struggle so fun, because we know deep down that if in human psychology, to get out of pain, you need to have the process be fun and enjoyable, right? That's how that that's how that goes. So for a process that is very deeply transformative, we've made it purposely enjoyable, and we would just look forward to hanging out with you all and getting to help you. So if any of this resonates and you'd like to have fun transforming your life with an incredibly fun, purpose-driven, dedicated team of people that really want to walk you from where you are to where you want to be, then consider potentially doing a breakthrough call and just letting us look at what you're wanting to change and what you're wanting to be different. And that's all, that's all the process is. It's just an exploration, but it's a very, very valuable conversation that can be really life-changing. So if you want to have one of those conversations with us, I'll put a link with this interview, and we would definitely look forward to talking to you and getting to know you, and even on that call, having a lot of fun with you. So thank you all for your attention, and feel free to leave any comments or questions, of Coach Carla, anything that you want to know. And we just wish you all just the most wonderful life of full potential that you can make possible. All right, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Carla.
Thank you.